It has undeniably been a painful past few months for all Ghanaians. The power outages have plunged many into darkness and subjected them to sweltering heat almost every other day. But what compounds this issue even further is the absence of a clear timetable, leaving the average citizen unable to plan their daily lives. The Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, has been at the center of this storm, refusing to publish a load management schedule. This stance has led to a public war of words, with the utilities regulator PURC exacerbating the frustration and confusion among the populace. Well, despite the relentless calls of Ghanaians for transparency and accountability, their pleas seem to have fallen on deaf ears. Well, tonight on Ghana Connect, we connect with Ghanaians both at home and abroad to shine a light on this pressing issue. We'll draw insights from experiences in other parts of the continent, understanding how different countries have dealt with similar challenges and what lessons we can learn from them. But most importantly, we want to hear from you, our listeners. What are your experiences with the power crisis? How has it impacted your daily life, your businesses, and your communities? I want you to join us in this conversation as we strive to uncover the realities of what Ghanaians are truly going through. How do we fix and what explains the refusal to publish a load shedding management timetable?
For the past 3 weeks to 4 weeks, they've been shedding load on a daily basis. Yesterday alone, they shed 530 megawatts. What we experienced yesterday and what we are experiencing this afternoon, we experienced it for 4 continuous years. And what are they telling us, Mr.
Speaker? The reality is that there's a deficit in generation.
You do admit that there's doom, so
that is the word you used. I have never used that word. I've promised you that we are going to work on it, and it's not a work that is a single event. It's a process, and we'll continue to work on it for the energy sector to become better.
Have you heard of calls for a timetable?
Ask those who want it to bring it, if there is.
Well, you just heard a tip of the iceberg, and we're going to continue or start the conversation actually right after this break.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHF, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Water is needed all day, all night. So remember Syntex tank all day, all night. 7 years warranty. Select any color for free. In no the crack, in no the spoil. Call Accra on 0244 335 168. Kumasi 0505 555 666. Syntex tank. A strong, a tough. Water is needed all day, all night. So remember Syntex tank all day, all night. 7 years warranty. Select any color for free. In no the crack, in no the spoil. Call Accra on 0244 335 168. Kumasi 0505 555 666. Syntex tank. A strong, a tough.
Things are looking up on this side.
When you upgrade to the enhanced GCB mobile app, you start doing more with ease.
Create a GCB instant account easily and conveniently with your GCB mobile app and start sending and receiving funds. All you need is your Ghana card.
Pay your bills, subscriptions and fees to multiple merchants safe and secure.
Charlie, tap the app. Open a GCB instant account and experience the recoded vibe.
You're able to top up on all types of ECG prepaid meters with their special card readers and keep the power on. No worries, no stress.
With GCB mobile app, you can also generate prepaid and virtual cards to use on ATM machines, POS devices, and for online transactions.
Well, I pay my subscriptions and fees with my GCB mobile app conveniently.
GCB mobile app. Download now from Google Play Store or Apple Store. Upgrade your style. GCB Bank. Your bank for life.
There is time for everything, including exclusive breastfeeding by mothers, which starts within the first 30 minutes baby is born till the time the child is 6 months old. Grandma,
Grandpa,
husbands.
Let's all come on board Good Life and insist that our child takes only breast milk for the first 6 months. No food, no water, no gripe water.
Breast milk has all the nutrients the child needs to grow strong and healthy. So I ask, how is your good life?
Remember that exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months is best for baby, and good growth starts with right nutrition at birth. Good Life, live it well. It's an everyday thing. Good Life from Ghana Health Service and partners with support from USAID.
We have a new leader in town. Obiarenti. Amafo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal pack with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello, my name is Mami Akua, an entrepreneur and a mother of two. My work keeps me busy most of the time, and sometimes it takes me away from my family. But the safety and health of my family is very important to me. As a working mother, I cannot afford to take any chances when it comes to matters of health. That is why I signed up for a family healthcare plan from Equity Health Insurance. My family and I have access to over 700 hospitals, clinics, opticians, dentists, pharmacies, and diagnostic centers across the length and breadth of Ghana. With Equity Health Insurance, I no longer have to worry about medical bills. Anytime a member of my family visits a hospital, Equity Health Insurance has got my family and I covered. What about you? Who has got you covered?
Call Equity Health Insurance on 050-660-7910 and talk to them about your family health needs now. Visit equityhealthinsurance.com for more information. Equity Health Insurance, here for you.
Welcome back from the commercial break. Tonight on Ghana Connect, we connect with Ghanaians both at home and abroad to shine a light on the pressing issue of Dumso. We'll draw insights from experiences in other parts of the continent, understanding how different countries have dealt with similar challenges and what lessons we can learn from them. Before we start the conversation, though, listen to this.
For the past 3 weeks to 4 weeks, they've been shedding load on a daily basis. Yesterday alone, they shed 530 megawatts. What we experienced yesterday and what we are experiencing this afternoon, we experienced it for 4 continuous years. And what are they telling us, Mr. Speaker?
Maintenance issues going on. As I'm speaking to you, the Twin City plant in Takari is down for maintenance for I think about 20-something days, and we plowed through a few of the days. They are doing their best to come back on. So whenever that happens, that means you do not have a buffer. You have an exact amount of power that you are pumping into the system.
ECG for ya who ya mob when I send I will say you're freaking and you're fine. And you're fine, and you're fine. And then I come to 7-4 off. And then I shall my bay at cough. Let's have when you want to switch in it, and then one guy rough.
Contrary to the false impression emanating from ECG that they are in the process of maintaining some transformers, the reality is that there's a deficit in generation.
Well, for all my guests on the show tonight, you can call us survivors. Yes, the black survivors and the Dumso survivors. So listen to the song from Bob Marley and the Wailers, and I want you to pay attention to the lyrics. When we come back, I'll introduce my guests for today's conversation. Agbagba, and connecting with me on the show tonight we have Nanama Boateng. She's a Ghanaian, now living in the USA. We also have here with us in the studio, connecting with us in the studio is Parkwesi Shandov. He's a writer, journalist, and an editor at Wesleyan TV. We also have Eyitope Kutei. is a Nigerian journalist based in Nigeria. And we all know Nigeria has its own power issues. Dr. Edward Akanyambeke Jr. is the president of the Ghana Hotels Association. And we also have Senator Daiwili, a journalist based in South Africa. And then we also have Kwesi Boche, who is an activist and a law enthusiast. Let me welcome them to the show. Ladies, gentlemen, welcome to Ghana Connect, and thanks for connecting with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Thanks for having me too.
Great. Now let me start from the studio. With you, Pakwesi Shandov. We have the Doomsor Diary series running on Joy FM, on Joy News, on all our platforms. And I'm sure you've listened to it, you've heard it. You've had people share their own stories about how the intermittent, power supply, the erratic power supply situation is affecting them. I have my own, which is Doomsor PTSD, Doomsor post-traumatic stress disorder. So usually when I'm at home and I've not ironed my clothes, I'm not comfortable because I know there can be power outage at any point in time.
Right.
Yeah, and that gives me a lot of PTSD. Yeah. I don't know what you have in your Doomsor Diary.
Of course, good evening to your very good self and all our listeners and my colleague discussants on this very subject. Just like all Ghanaians, I have also had my fair share of the insensitive treatment. I've not been happy over the period, and people very close to me have also felt the brunt of the entire situation. So, roundly and squarely, I would of course want to say that the circumstances have been extremely severe and extremely severe and highly unpleasant. I don't want to believe that this cough is even influenced by Doomsor in any way. But yes, that's the point. I mean, the generality of the Ghanaian populace have not had it easy over the last couple of weeks, and it's an issue that is begging honesty. It's an issue that requires and demands a lot of healthy and truthful conversations. Unfortunately, it appears that those at the helm of affairs, those who are supposed to call the shots, the stewards and those that we have entrusted power to handle these issues, appear to be not just playing the ostrich. Of course, the dishonesty is part of the politics and a part of the world. But apart from their general conduct of dishonesty, there is also a certain unwillingness to address the situation, and that, Maxwell, is a very big concern for me. We report on it, we write about it, we see the lamentations and the series of, as it were, pleas, even on social media, how that people and everybody is campaigning and advocating for at least a timetable, because when you have a timetable, then you can regulate your affairs properly. It would inspire and guide how you consume electricity at a particular point in time. But I mean, and as of now, nobody knows when they will be thrown into the dark, and it also has security implications. So, by way of preliminary comments, let me say that indeed it's a very unfortunate development.
How is it affecting you personally?
Well, personally, the effects have gotten to do with basically my work routines, because, of course, the time I wake up and the time I sleep, and because of the nature of my job, I have to, for example, look very presentable. It's still the same issues of ironing, for example. You don't know when, and even ironing ahead of time.
And that gives you PTSD as well?
Well, not really. But ironing ahead of time does not even solve the situation, because you can iron ahead of time. If you wake up tomorrow and you feel you want to change your outfit, there is no opportunity if the light is not there, And I like to work in the evenings too, very late in the night. I like to roam. Of course, I am ministerially inclined. I'm a preacher, let me put it that way, and because of that special dimension, I like
affecting even your kingdom work.
Of course, because I do prayer walks. I do a lot of midnight prayers. But you see, now commuting from home to the prayer grounds in the evenings, you would now be thinking about the security implications, because the journey from my room to the prayer grounds, it's engrossed in darkness. It's affecting kingdom affairs as well.
That's an interesting perspective that you've introduced into this conversation. But let me connect with Nanama Boateng. She's a Ghanaian, but now living in the USA. Let me find out from you, Nanama. You are lucky. You're in the United States right now. You're in the US right now. Definitely not affected, by Dumso.
Yeah. No Dumso at my end. No.
How stable is? I mean, for people who have not been to the US before, how stable is the power situation there?
Our station is very stable. I haven't even seen the bulbs flicker.
Wow.
And when I see it's about to rain, I'm not scared because in Ghana, when it's about raining, like, okay.
Yeah.
Lights are going to go also.
And your first instinct is to grab your charger and charge your phone when it gets cloudy because there'll be power outage.
Yeah, but when it begins to rain, I don't have that fear. I have to charge my phone. I have to do everything that needs electricity. So it's better out here as compared to Ghana.
Yeah. But tell me, what was it like? Did you ever experience the intermittent power supply when you were in Ghana? That situation, because we've had it in times past. Did you experience it?
Oh, yes, I have. So I've been talking to my friends, and I always say, in big 2024, we are still experiencing. We used to experience when we were in primary, in junior high school. I remember about 10 years ago, I used to experience Doomsday, and even during former President Kufuor's era, we still had Doomsday, and Mahama's era Doomsday, and Nanado's era Doomsday. So I experienced all these three before leaving.
Go to Eyitope in Nigeria. I want to be sure I'm pronouncing your name right, Eyitope.
Yeah. You're trying.
I'm trying now.
Yeah.
What's the right pronunciation?
Eyitope.
Oh, Eyitope.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're already aware of this. That a lot of people in Ghana refer to Nigeria sometimes as Generator Republic. But now also, I think Ghana is gradually becoming a generator republic as well. Tell us, for Nigeria, what is the situation like in Nigeria? For many of my friends who I've been speaking to, they tell us, look, we think Ghana is the lesser evil in all of this.
I can tell you that. Thank you for having me, and I want to say hello to all the guests in the house. Basically, I think this issue of power supply is not something that is new to us in Nigeria. And like you said, you called us the generator capital of Africa. You can remember during the Nations Cup, you can remember the adverts the South Africans did when we were having a match with them. I don't know if you can remember that. They were mocking Nigerians about the generator thing, And basically, like the first speaker said, Ghanaians have not really been having a good. He mentioned in the past few weeks, and I laugh when he says in the past few weeks because in Nigeria it's not a thing of few weeks, it's not a thing of few months, it's not a thing of few years, it's not a thing of few, it's a thing that has been here for a very long time, and it's really a threat, a menace that the federal government has been trying to tackle for a very, very long time. Let me give you an example or an insight to a recent statement credited to the Minister of Power in Nigeria. His name is Adelabu, Chief Adebayo Adelabu. He says Nigeria gets about 40,000 megawatts of electricity from generators powered by premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, and those run by automotive gas oil known as diesel. So if we get electricity from generators for about 40,000 megawatts, then Nigeria with 200 million Nigerians can only generate the power generation and supply from its national grid revolves between 3,500 megawatts and 4,500 megawatts for estimated population of 200 million people.
Wow.
So I think with this statistic, you should know the kind of suffering Nigerians are into. And just recently, I was going through something not quite long, and there's a report from Renewable Energy Association saying that the sales of solar products, alternative to the power, solar products in Nigeria have risen by 450% between 2017 and 2022.
Wow.
So that should tell you that Nigerians are no longer depending on this power from the federal government, power from the national grid. People want to get alternative means to get power for themselves through solar energy, renewable energy, through generators and all. So it's okay. Also, I could remember just last week. Just last week. Or let me just put it between that. Let me just put it between between January and April. You know, the national grid has collapsed 2 times. You know, the national grid has collapsed 2 times, so it makes the situation worse. But like we always say, or like we know, the federal government says they are on top of the situation, trying to ensure that Nigeria gets a better deal from all the discos. And in Nigeria, you know, discos are called the distribution companies, and we have 11 power distribution companies in Nigeria. So we're hoping to get a better deal in the coming. I won't say the coming months. I won't say the coming years.
Quite a worrying, picture you're painting for us. Elsewhere, where people rely on the national grid, and sometimes rely on their solar system or their generators or plants as a backup in case there's power outage. Now you're telling us that more people are actually in Nigeria are relying on alternative sources of power. Tell me, how often do you experience power outage? In Nigeria, for instance, let's say in this week, how many times have you experienced any power outage?
Okay, now let me tell you. In Nigeria, we have some big cities. The nation's capital, which is Abuja. We have the commercial nerve center of the country, Lagos, and we also have Port Harcourt, which is the oil capital. So, I want to say in these 3 big cities, the supply of the power supply there is I think is something better than all the other federating units. We have 36 states, 36 federating units in the country. So I think in these 3 places, at least they are a little bit better. They get out of 24 hours. Sometimes they might get like 15 to 20 hours. But now I want to say I live in the Federal Capital Territory, so but I'm out of the Federal Capital Territory now. I came to one of the federating units for an event, and as I'm telling you now, I'm in an hotel where I'm staying, and there's no light. That's how bad.
I was in Abuja and I experienced it. Wow.
That's and let me tell you why I'm saying that's how bad. In the hotel, in where I am, in the town where I am, they don't give you lights during the day. Because number one, they don't get that power supply from the national grid. They don't get that power supply from the government. So during the day, if there's no light from the government, then they don't put on generating set. They don't put on anything. So you'll be dead till evening when they're going to run it all night. Like I'm here now, there's no lights. I'm waiting till they said they're going to wait till like 8 p.m. before they put on the lights.
Wow. So
that is what we're going through. So that's part of it.
Hey, Toby, I'll be coming to you to hear how this is affecting your work. We've heard from Pakwesi Shandov in Ghana here, who's saying that it is affecting his evangelism work because he's unable to step out at night to evangelize. When he's sleeping, he's thinking about the fact that there could be power outage at any time, and he's thinking about how he would have to go to work not ironing his clothes and all of that. Let me go to Kwesi Botwe, who's an activist and a law enthusiast. Okay, before him, let me go to Dr. Edward Akanyamike, who is the president of the Ghana Hotels Association. Doc, thanks for connecting with us. I'm curious to know what you have in your Doomsor diary. We've heard from Pakwesi, who's been sharing his. What do you have in your Doomsor diary? You've also heard mine. I have Doomsor PTSD, Doomsor post-traumatic stress disorder.
Good evening to the micro panelists. But let me put it in perspective. Okay, we know there are various sources of electricity, and for most part of this country's life, it's been more of the national grid, which generally it's very convenient and until recently cost effective as well when you use it against other sources. So we've been used to the national grid as the main source of electricity. But when we had that challenge with Doomsor some years back, it became obvious in Ghana that every hotel needed a generator or a plant as an alternative source of electricity. Okay, so you go to most hotels.
Yeah.
And here, I represent the wide range of the hotel community from budget to 5-star.
Yeah.
Most of the 2 to 5-star hotels, you can be sure that they will have a standby generator. It's the few budget or some 1-star hotels who may not have it. Okay. But that's to say that most hotels have that alternative source. And that culture came from where we had that long spell of Doomsor. So as a business unit, which depends a lot on electricity, the hotels are always prepared to provide that alternative source when the national grid goes off, because they cannot work without electricity. So that's how the hotels have been managing the situation. In fact, some even have that automatic switch where you may not even notice that the national grid has gone off because it switches automatically to the plant. The only disadvantage here is the higher cost of operation when you have to use the plant or the generator in terms of the extra fuel that you have to pay for and the maintenance of the plant. And for those who do not have the automatic switch, where they use the manual switch, sometimes you're in the middle of a conference in a hotel, the grid goes off, and you would have to now go and switch on your generator. Those inconveniences. Okay, so I think the hotels generally are managing the situation well, apart from the higher cost of operation that I have mentioned earlier on. And so that's what I can say by way of introduction.
Okay, great. Let me come to you, Kwesi Boche. Kwesi Boche is an activist. Kwesi, you've heard from Dr. Akanyamike talking about how hotels have now had to adjust. They have a backup, so anytime there's power outage, they switch to their plants or their solar systems and all of that. You've had a situation in Nigeria. You've heard Pakwesi Shandoff sharing his own story. You've also heard mine. What is in your Doomsor diary? Can you share with us?
Thank you very much, Maxwell. Good evening to yourself and to colleague panelists and to everybody listening. In fact, listening to the Nigerian narration, it seems to me that it looks as if Ghana is blessed because it looks like we are in trouble, but others are in a mess. Personally, I think the Doomsor situation is very worrying and it's beginning to be very terrifying and frustrating. I think we need to critically assess the situation and bring out a proper solution to this problem. But I asked myself a basic question that this government has been able to keep our lights on, arguably, for the past 7 years. We are in an election year. So what is the challenge? We need a proper communication from our power handlers. I personally believe that the back and forth from ECG and Gridco and VRA and the Ministry of Energy is really not helping us. We need to sit behind a round table. Let's find a proper solution to this challenge. Ghanaians demand that their lights are on, irrespective of what the handlers of our power sector come to tell us. And so the ECG MD, the VRA MD, the GridCo MD, I think they should set up and up their game. We demand that our lights are on, or we demand proper explanations. But to keep everybody in a vacuum and nobody knowing what is happening, you wake up one morning, there is no light. I mean, you don't know what to do. It's very troubling. And sometimes you hear the ECG making the argument that the matter has to do with GridCo or has to do with VRE. ECG must understand that Ghanaians don't pay bills to GridCo. Ghanaians don't pay bills to VRE. We pay bills to ECG. We buy prepaid from ECG. And so we demand that when our lights are off, ECG comes out with a proper communication. I personally feel we shouldn't politicalize everything in this country. This intermittent power outages isn't a matter of politics, isn't a matter of MPP, NDC, because when the lights goes off, it doesn't know MPP or it doesn't know NDC. I mean, it goes off without recourse to your political affiliation. And so I think that we should all come together as a nation. Let us sit and have a clear policy dialogue on how we intend to fix our energy crisis. I am aware that this government has invested so much into the power sector, but investing so much into the power sector is almost immaterial if we are unable to keep our lights on. I am aware that the president has taken certain measures to ensure that some of our generations that we extend to our neighboring countries are limited so that we can generate more power to be able to care for the deficit currently going on in this country. But I think that the ECG MD must set up, the GridCo MD must set up, and all other stakeholders in the power industry must all collectively come together to make sure there is a solution to this challenge. Because, Maxwell, you agree with me that when light goes off, everybody becomes stranded. And it even has a lot of security implications. In fact, I am grateful that at least in the last 7 years, we've experienced constant power supply. We know what this government can do. We know what they've done in the last 7 years. And so we are pleading with the power handlers. This is not a matter of President Akufo-Addo or the Vice President or anybody. This is a matter that has to do with the power handlers. They are the people we have entrusted our power sector into their hands and care. And so we demand that they come out with a clear roadmap. I heard the chairman for the Energy and Mines Committee of Parliament, the respected and venerable Atachia, speaking to the media and saying that, I mean, he agrees to the fact that Ghanaians need a doomsday timetable so we can be prepared. I'm sure if there is a doomsday timetable, the trauma you've been going through will at least be managed a bit. And so I agree with the comment of the venerable Atachia that at least we need something that could guide us. And again, we need a proper communication from our power handlers and from the ECG or whoever that matters.
Okay.
So that Ghanaians would be able to know that at time T or X, our lights are going on, lights are coming back. And if it is like they've told us already that it's localized fault, they should give us, call numbers that we can call to verify as to whether or not these are, internalized problem or domestic problems and not matters affecting the whole nation as a whole. So, in conclusion, my position is that the ECG MD must set up.
Yeah.
The ECG MD must up his game because he is if you look at the power chain supply, it is the ECG that deals directly with the customers. And so if our lights are off, we demand that the ECG gives the power. Proper
yeah.
So the ECG will come out to talk to Ghanaians.
Okay. Thank you, Kwesi. But let me say that you can also join us. You can also connect with us on WhatsApp on 055-1111-997. 055-1111-997. I'll be glad to share your Doomsaw story from your Doomsaw diary. We're supposed to connect to Senator Duwele. He's a journalist based in South Africa. But guess what? Just when he joined us via Zoom, there was power outage where he is in South Africa, and now we are unable to establish connections, with him. 2 years ago, I was in South Africa. I was in Johannesburg, and I experienced the South African Doomsaw. Just that there in South Africa, it is properly communicated, so you can plan and expect when the lights are going to go out and when the lights are going to come back. It seems that is what is missing here in Ghana's Dumso story. Shandoff, you heard from Kwesi Botwe, who is saying that the people in the power supply chain have to be candid with us. They have to tell us the truth that, look, this is what is happening. And let me say that in the last 7 days, or I think just about last week or last 2 weeks, when they had that big meeting at the Alisa Hotel, where all the people in the power supply chain were summoned, to that meeting by the Energy Committee, then we had the revelation and the confirmation, because then it was just rumors that what we're experiencing was actually a generation problem. The Electricity Company of Ghana had told us that it was conducting, some maintenance work of some of their transformers. And after that big meeting with that Energy Committee, in fact, the ranking member on that committee, John Jinapo, warned that they should be candid with the people, because coming before the committee, you're going to be under oath. If you tell lies, that will be perjury. So all of them went to that meeting and had no choice but to be truthful to us that what we are experiencing is a generation problem. We do not have the money to buy fuel to power some of our plants. So generation problem, the ECG for weeks kept telling us that it was a maintenance, they were conducting some, maintenance, works on their transformers. How do you feel about that? As a taxpayer, and there's a big situation like this, power outage at any time.
The point is,
and the person who is supposed to give you the power is not being candid with you, is not being frank with you.
The lack of truthfulness and honesty in dealing with this matter, of course, is one of the things that I have repeatedly criticized. But then perhaps we may want to look at why it is happening that way. Don't forget that the current NPP government rode on the back of the same challenge that was persistent from 2015 thereabout, to 2016 in winning that substantive 2016 election. And now we are in a time where election is approaching. If the current party, the NPP, the government of the day, admits that, okay, this is the challenge and that these are the issues, okay, I'm not trying to step in their shoes, but we should also advert our minds to the political implications. You campaigned against Party A or a certain group of people. You branded them as incompetent. You characterized them as people who were not effective in office because of a particular situation. Years after, you are in the same boat. Okay, and that is why it appears that all the relevant stakeholders are not able to treat the matter with the needed honesty. But here is the point: regardless of how much they pussyfoot the issue or the extent of, as it were, dishonesty, we, the citizens who would eventually vote, are definitely feeling the brunt. We can experience the insensitivity. We are going through the inconvenience every passing second. And that is why maybe they have to say that, look, we are going to give this thing a more nationalistic outlook. Politically, it may punch us in the face, but let's approach it nationalistically. And first of all, let's produce a timetable. After that, let's look at a more effective way. Maxwell, if it even includes bringing expertized minds from both parties, let's bring them around the table. Let's have a proper, holistic and a comprehensive discussion on the matter, because the more we keep, as it were, hiding away from it, there's a guy saying that actually bono ujomlan no here, to wait a blow that is inevitably yours is better received earlier and hurriedly. That, I think, should be the approach of the government. The issue is already on the table. Ghanaians are happy. Whether and the nomenclature is not even important, whether you brand it as Dumso or Dumsisi or whatever. Effectively, people like me who desire to step out at night to pray because of our love for our Master Jesus Christ, we are not able to do that. I don't know if you do evangelism, Maxwell. Maybe you have to tell us. But yeah, otherwise I'll be coming to your community. But I'm not able to reach out to you basically because of some of these things, and it's unfortunate. So let's be honest about the situation, Maxwell.
Let's be honest about the situation, Pakwesi Shandoff. Nanama Boateng, let me find out from you. You do not experience, Dumso in the US, but I'm sure there are instances where there could be power outage. Maybe there's a hurricane. Maybe there's a natural disaster, and your power would be taken. How effective are the utility providers in communicating, this, and how forthright are they with information? How candid are they with you with information?
So I'm going to be honest. Since I have moved here, we haven't experienced anything of that nature. So I don't really know how they go about that.
Wow, wait, how many years have you been in the U.S.?
It's like about 3 years.
3 years and no power outage?
No, not even a flicker from the bulb.
Not even a flicker from the bulb? Wow.
No.
So you can't relate with what Pakwesi Shandov is saying, right?
No, I cannot. Of course.
You see the difference?
Let me find out from Ayitope. Ayitope, so a lot of us here in Ghana are complaining about how the power suppliers are actually dancing around the issue. Some days ago, we didn't know what the exact issue was. They kept telling us that they're doing maintenance work on their transformers and all of that. And just some days ago, we got to know that it was actually a generation problem. It was a generation problem. They do not have enough money to procure enough fuel to power some of our plants to give us electricity. In Nigeria, how candid are the people in the helm of affairs with situations like this? Do they communicate effectively?
Okay, first, talking about communication. First, nobody will tell you there's going to be power outage. Nobody's going to communicate that to you. Nobody's going to tell you anything. You just wake up and find out there's no light, and we're used to it to go about our normal businesses, But the thing about the communication is this has been the government defense for a very long time. They come out and say, okay, the power generation problem, they need to privatize the sector, and which they did. That's what I'm talking about. Like you are talking about Doomsel, we're talking about Discos. It used to be NEPA, it used to be PHCN, now Discos, transition. So basically, when they privatized that and gave each Discos, probably they are now their own thing is about the power generation. Nigeria is a population of over 200 million, and the problem of generation has become a very serious problem. Now, let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Recently, when the national grid collapsed, the reason why they gave was that, according to the transmission company of Nigeria, so that the system disturbance was triggered by a significant reduction in generation capacity, primarily due to gas constraints.
Yeah.
That then the reduction also led to a rapid decline in system frequency, creating a sudden grid. So basically, it's about generation problem, and that's why during the campaigns, most of the candidates had to go to Egypt to learn how they generate their power, because I think in Africa, Egypt is number one in terms of power generation. So people go there to see how they generate, what they do, and so it's about generation, I think. But communication has been always the problem. Number one, nobody's going to tell you there's going to be power outage. You just wake up and you don't see that. And the government has always been giving us reasons why this is this, and we've been like this for years, not just for months, not for weeks, for years since I was growing up. At least I'm in my early 40s now, and since I've been on earth, it's been in Nigeria as a Nigerian. It's been like this.
Wow, a never-ending problem. It's time to connect with you, and my colleague Michael Ashali is in the studio to tell us what you've been talking about on social media. We hear that, and we connect with Dr. Edward Akanyamike and Kwesi Boche. Michael, a lot of messages, coming through about Doomso, people sharing leave from their Doomso diary. Tell us more.
Maxwell, there's a new phenomenon. You mentioned PTSD, right? People have
Doomso PTSD.
People have light anxiety. Especially during the day when you don't hear anybody, you don't see people's light bulb outside to tell whether it's light out or not.
Yeah.
You get home and you are scared to turn on the light because you'll be just so disappointed if it's off.
You know, and I hear even now when people are going home, they no longer ask, "Oh, is food ready?" No, is it, Charlie, light will fear now. Charlie.
A very, very serious situation. But let's connect with somebody from East Legon. This is Daniel, and he says Doomsday has really affected us in so many ways. Recently, I had a function to attend. To my surprise, the light went out. I had to drive to my church to iron my dress before I attended that program.
Charlie.
Daniel, sorry about that.
Charlie.
But that's the truth. Let's go to Kumasi, and Sami says, well, listening to the guy from Nigeria, he indicated that Africans have leaders who do not think outside the box. And Sami seems to agree with Ayitope on that one. Let's go to Tema, and Prof says, all the problems we go through are not due to lack of technical professional knowledge, but as a result of reckless political decisions. So this mantra that this or that should not be politicized makes no sense. It's already being politicized. Well, let's go to the UK now, Bristol, and we have this lady texting us. She says, well, I relocated to the UK as a nurse last 6 months, and my bulb hasn't blinked for a second before.
Charlie.
God save our motherland Ghana. I don't know how you put me.
Nana Boateng says she's been there for 3 years and her bulb is yet to flicker. Hey!
Charlie, flicker there.
Yet to flicker.
It means even the quality of the bulb in itself.
Charlie.
But I don't know how you put together, you're in the UK and it's good, and you won't say, God save Mother Ghana. But let's go to Kaswa, the Republic of Kaswa, and says, I had light off when I was leaving for work 10 a.m. today.
Yeah.
I resumed this evening at 6:30. The light came on. Just 5 minutes ago, the light went off again.
Oh.
I'm in the darkness now, listening to you via my car. I'm really sorry about this, but I'm glad that you still chose to listen to the show. A couple more. This one is political. It's straight away. It says the NPP government is simply insensitive to the plight of Ghanaians. We'll take them on silently in the December polls. This is from Fred in Kumasi. And then finally, this one says, your namesake, Maxwell. She says, this is Max from Madan. As you speak now, our lights are out. I mean, the doom is in the whole of Adan.
Hey!
And no notice. And these people were not humble to admit this.
Yeah. So, Max in Adan, what do they say? Mema would doom so. Sorry about that situation. But let me come to you, Dr. Edward Akanyameke. Thanks, Michael Ashali, with messages coming from you and connecting with us in the studio. Doc, in 30 seconds, I want to find out from you, how do we permanently resolve, this issue? How do we permanently, solve this problem of intermittent, power supply? What do you want the people in authority to do?
Well, Maxwell, obviously, I'm no expert in energy issues, so I will not be able to give any technical advice, except to say that whatever the NPP did in the past 7 years to keep the lights on, they should look for that thing and do it to keep the power on. You see, because in this short term, as a business entity, we'll be able to manage some of the challenges that are coming up. But if this thing will prolong, it will have a long-lasting effect on the industry. Because, the decision to even choose Ghana as a destination will be affected. It will affect our international arrivals, and that also has implications for our quest to make tourism a major contributor to our GDP. And even the investment in the sector depends on the availability of power. Investors consider availability of power in their decision making to invest in the country.
Sure.
So I'm just praying that this thing will be resolved as quickly as possible, so we don't get into some of these issues that I'm bringing up.
Thank you very much, Doc. Now to Pakwesi Sandov in the studio. Pakwesi, you have 15 seconds. Yeah.
Right. So in dealing with the issue, I'll just reiterates the points I articulated earlier, that we need to approach the matter with a lot of honesty.
Okay.
The pussyfooting must stop, and we must, approach the matter in a more holistic fashion, devoid of the political colorization. If we are able to do that, maybe things will just be better. Just
okay.
maybe.
Okay. 30 seconds, 10 seconds.
We hope, we're Africans, and we hope we can have that experience, like Nana Amaboteng said, where in 3 years the bulb has not flickered. We're hoping to see that, and we're hoping to see the genuineness, the sincerity in our leaders, in the federal government, and in the politicians who are our leaders, to ensure that this thing is being done here.
Okay, thanks so much. I have this one here coming from Kwesi says, good evening, Maxwell. The whole of Kaswa has gone off some minutes ago. And I have similar messages coming through from different parts of the country. I think at this point, it's just right to end with this song, Survivor.